healthcare sector. And of course, it's a great honor today to welcome you to today's webinar of G42 Healthcare Journey, set up the COVID-19 vaccine and plans for the future. So let me remind you that we would love to have it extremely engaging, extremely interactive. So please remember to drop your question to the chat box, and we will make sure that we will address your questions at the end of the session with Mr. Ashish. So now I would like to introduce our esteemed speaker, Mr. Ashish Kushi, who's the CEO of the G42 Healthcare. And obviously, G42 is an entity that has been established in Abu Dhabi, and they are known for their great contribution to the UAE in battling the COVID-19. I wouldn't steal much time on that because I would believe that Mr. Ashish will be better poised to shed more light on it. But we all thank you, Mr. Ashish, not only for being with us, but for the great, I would say, contribution that you and your entity is doing for the UAE. Without further ado, I would like to hand this over to Mr. Ashish to kickstart. So Mr. Ashish, over to you.
Thank you, thank you. Let me just start off with sharing my screen. Just confirm once you guys can see it. Is it visible?
Not yet, Mr. Ashish.
Okay, let me just fix it. Hold on a second. That's weird.
Perfectly clear now.
Brilliant. Okay, perfect.
Can you make it full slide, please?
Okay.
Full screen.
Appears full screen to me right now.
It's in a presenter view, Mr. Ashish.
Okay.
It's in a, yeah.
Apologies, let me sort this out. Is it working now?
It's still showing in the presenter view. If you would,
yeah, just give me a second. Hold on.
Okay. Shohrat, if you have it, maybe you can present it from your side. Is that okay, Ashish?
Yeah, hold on. Let me just.
Okay.
I would do it with pleasure.
Okay.
Perfect.
Wonderful, Mr. Ashish. It's perfectly clear now.
Sorry, had to restart the PowerPoint and start all over again. Anyway, so thank you for the, and sorry, apologies for the confusion in the beginning. So thank you, Shohrat, Dr. Ayman, Dr. Ahmed, and Dr. Mazin for this opportunity. And welcome to all the members of AmCham Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and other participants. First of all, thank you for the warm invite that you've allowed us, Group 42, to come and throw some light into what we do in the country, and especially sharing some of our experiences over the months in combating the COVID-19 pandemic. So let me just start off with, I'm sure all of you want to know more about Group 42. So Group 42 is an Abu Dhabi-based artificial intelligence and cloud computing company. It's uniquely positioned to develop and deploy holistic and scalable solutions. We believe we are a true representation of the culture of this country, standing on the shoulders of a strong and coherent ecosystem together with progressive regulatory policies, fully open to the world's best ideas and capability. Group 42 is working towards a future where AI is able to handle generalized tasks, which normally humans do. We have multiple divisions in our verticals, if you could call it. We have a government sector, healthcare, aviation, hospitality, oil and gas, smart cities, and specifically around digital transformation across these sectors in UAE. I know Shohrat got the name wrong, so maybe I can perhaps throw some light into what 42 is all about. Since we are an AI company, we are a bunch of tech nerds, if you could call it. I don't know how many of you all have read the book Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where there is a question pushed across towards the very end. What is the ultimate answer to the question of life, the universe, and everything? And the answer comes as 42. And that's what we believe. We are building a supercomputer there that can answer these questions across these multiple sectors. There's another significance to the number 42 also. In the American Standard Code of Information Interchange, which is ASCII, 42 stands for the code of the asterisk symbol, which signifies a wild card character on the keyboard, which is apt for us right now. We come in and we execute and deliver missions at scale. So that's the history behind the word 42. Now, allow me to go into a couple of slides talking about the healthcare division, which I currently lead. So healthcare, it's all about speed, scale, and synchronization. We are currently in the forefront of the battle against COVID-19. We've established a massive throughput laboratory here in Abu Dhabi. We've initiated manufacturing for PPEs, masks. We are conducting currently research on the vaccines. We are working on therapies. And we are trying to also predict trends of the virus mutation using our sequencing capability. This is all made possible by our varied portfolio that we have currently under Group 42 Healthcare. We are in a very complex or challenging time, as you all would agree, in the healthcare system. These complexities and challenges bring with them multiple enormous opportunities for learning, growth, and innovation. While the focus of many countries or companies would be to manage COVID-19, what we've taken the focus is how do we leverage technologies and the entire ecosystem to perhaps better prepare for tomorrow's challenges. Some of the portfolio solutions that we have is on AI imaging. We have imaging solutions for mammograms, lung nodule detection. I'll touch upon some of the solutions in the later slides. Genomics is a key solution that we have here. Diagnostics, where we have multiple labs here in Abu Dhabi. Digitization, we have telemedicine solutions. Malafi is a recent acquisition that we have. In manufacturing, we are currently manufacturing KN95 masks, detection kits. Under research, we are working on a stem cell program right now. Under pharma, as you all are aware, we are currently running the For Humanity clinical trial together with the Department of Health and SEHAM. We will shortly get into vaccine distribution and also manufacturing. The last pillar that we have here is a short-term project. We all hope it's a short-term project as a response to COVID-19. We are working with multiple entities, be it the Ultimate Fighting Champion, ADNOC, Etihad. How do you bring back people to work? So some of the turnkey solutions that we have right now across leveraging both AI and cloud solutions is one is our manufacturing solutions for COVID-19. We have enabled massive detection using our labs, which we call Biogenix Labs. We are upholding safety with fit-to-play programs and back to work. We are hoping the clinical trial will open up the world back to a new order, decoding better with AI in medical imaging. We are leveraging technology for getting into genomics, and also with our partnerships with multiple companies, including a joint venture with Abu Dhabi Holding, which is called Adalytyx. Our response in a nutshell for the COVID-19 is seen here. Some of the responses is, if you are in Abu Dhabi, you would see our smart city vertical has deployed cameras for thermal imaging scanning across multiple malls, across hotel entrances, and it's ensuring a safe passage into these facilities. We have a supercomputer called Artemis, which is the world's 26th fastest supercomputer in the world. We have opened up an AI research platform free for all university students there. We have shipped close to 500,000 critical kits to multiple countries together with the government of UAE. We have testing infrastructure, manufacturing, pharma, research, and back-to-work programs. Quickly on our manufacturing prowess, since the pandemic, there was a heavy demand for PPEs in this region, and we understood there was a shortage. We turned it around and create manufacturing capabilities for these critical items here in Abu Dhabi. Those are KN95 masks, disposable masks, coveralls, protection goggles, thermometers, and we are currently supplying them. We are also looking into partnership with other companies to perhaps pivot into new solutions, hopefully once the pandemic is over. Another key solution or feat that we are extremely proud about is in March 2020, we had the success of setting up a high throughput laboratory at Masdar City, ground up. It was literally finished in 14 days. This laboratory, named Biogenix Laboratory, has played an integral role in making the UAE the country, one of the world's most tested countries per capita. I do have a short video here just to give the viewers and the participants, a rough idea of the quantum of work that was involved. Yeah, so that gives you a gist of the amount of effort. It took roughly 350 workers, our entire team to be there day in and day in, and out to complete that in record time. Unfortunately, we had casualties, including me. I was infected also by coronavirus during that period because we had to be upfront to ensure that we complete this. But nevertheless, the end objective was achieved. We've now currently running the facility at roughly around 15,000 samples on a daily basis. Furthermore, if you could see, this slide is where we have sort of innovated ourselves into multiple diagnostics tools. LAMPOR is a solution that we have co-developed together with our partner Oxford Nanopore in UK, where we are trying to come up with a solution of combining both LAMP technology and sequencing together to provide a scalable, fast, and hopefully an affordable solution also. This would potentially, using barcoding system, allow us to go at a much higher throughput, potentially even 100,000 tests on a daily basis. The second pillar that we are working on is multiple solutions that we have here together working with the Department of Health in terms of validation. We have LAMP-based tests. We are currently running a saliva testing program also for the schools and the children who do not need to go through a perhaps painful nasopharyngeal swab. We are running those programs together with Adalytyx and the schools. We have other solutions where for diagnostics, we're supporting the clinical trial in detecting and hopefully finding a solution to this pandemic through antibody testing. Viral culture lab, we've actually set it up in a week within this facility to support the vaccine clinical trial. And we look forward to sort of expanding our solution portfolio on innovative solutions as opposed to a standard lab. Another program, key program that is allowing people to come back to work, sports associations to conduct games without any issues is we've supported the UFC Fight Island from the healthcare side and also from the smart city side to give them a protected bubble to conduct the tournament not once, but there were two events here from UFC, both UFC 249 and 251. Also, we are supporting towards the end of this year the F1 tournament. We are supporting Adalytyx Labs in Ruwais and Abu Dhabi, and also Etihad passengers who need to fly out and need to get PCR certificates. Our goal is early prevention, communication to the partners, and resource tracking. This slide sort of gives you an example of the extent of the work involved for screening for just the UFC in example. We have done 18,530 samples. There's an entire workflow that starts off with the first PCR test, second PCR test, transferring to the hotel, quarantine, screening period, all the way to the day safely leaving the United Arab Emirates. You could see some statistics there in terms of this. The latest UFC has been the third highest trafficked week of UFC without a single incident of any potential outbreak or a positive case because it was conducted in a very well manner. Coming down to one of our highlights for this year is we were fortunate enough to work with Sinopharm, the world's 6th largest vaccine manufacturing company, to conduct the phase 3 trials of the inactivated vaccine in the UAE. We aptly call it the For Humanity clinical trial. The For Humanity campaign was launched on, I believe, 16th July. And within a month, thanks to the overwhelming response from the public, a record number of volunteers, and most importantly, from multiple diverse nationalities participated in this trial. You can see from the statistics, over 43,000 volunteers, 125 number of nationalities, the quantum of PCR testing that is involved in this, the quantum of antibody testing. We were also successful enough to take this clinical trial into multiple countries. We've opened 6 different centers in UAE, Bahrain, Jordan, and Egypt. Seeing the early results from the vaccine trials, the government of UAE were considerate enough to sort of provide emergency use authorization only for the frontliners. And it's an initiative we are extremely proud of being supportive of. Beyond the vaccine trials, what we want to take it to is distribution across the UAE and multiple other countries, and also to sort of create a biotech hub here in Abu Dhabi itself, so that we create capability within the country to fight this pandemic and or if you call it, independence from other companies or other participants or partners that might hold an edge. So that's our goal across this entire ecosystem, be it from manufacturing, be it from testing, be it from PPE kits, be it from PCR detection, vaccine manufacturing. I do believe we've, over the last couple of months, we're successful enough to creating an ecosystem to perhaps be ready for the next pandemic. Some of next Some of our key core skills is based on our AI imaging solutions, which is medical imaging is a key skill of ours. We have an army of data scientists working in the company where we work on computer vision and we work on annotated images and deploy medical imaging solutions to the hospitals here, including SEHA, and also we have international deployments. Population Genome Program is a program which is extremely large in terms of scale, and it's a world's first in terms of the comprehensive size around that. Our objective is to sequence the Emirati population here, create a genome blueprint for all the nationals here, so that can drive the path towards precision and personalized medicine. Our goal is to target the key diseases here, cardiovascular disease, blood disorders, cancer. What we want to take this is create a technology platform that has DNA sequencing along with medical imaging and create that one platform that provides the Department of Health a 360-degree view of every individual here to take the right decisions based on evidence-based. Why we are a strong partner and we consider ourselves a strong operational partner to run this sequencing program, because every human genome is roughly around 100 GB. You equate that into a million population, you need a supercomputer to churn that results and process that at a quick, rapid pace. We have both. We have a supercomputer and we have a data storage system on the cloud here in Abu Dhabi. So combining these two technologies is a world's first, where we are combining genome sequencing and AI using our Artemis supercomputer to open the door for new solutions based on precision medicine and personalized care. We have, all this is not, if in this, let's take for example, in the past 9 months or 10 months or so, all this is not possible individually. We've created a partner ecosystem. For example, we have a joint venture with Abu Dhabi Holding, or ADQ, it's called Adalytyx, where we are working on multiple use cases to improve efficiencies through revenue cycle management, chronic disease management, medical imaging, and deploying solutions on the cloud. We also have recent two acquisitions through Mubadala. One is Injazat and Kazna. A critical acquisition is in Injazat is a Malafi system, which is the region's health information exchange system, which in the entire ecosystem, it fits well because you have structured data sets that can answer questions across the Emirate of Abu Dhabi together with imaging and genomics, which makes it purely a data-driven healthcare system, and that's our goal. Next slide. Also, something that we are proud about is we were one of the first companies to collaborate with Israel, and also we were the first ones to inaugurate a new office based out of Tel Aviv. We've also partnered with one of the companies there called Nanocent, and we are helping them co-develop and work on a solution called Nanocent, which is sort of a breath analyzer test to detect coronavirus. This adds to our portfolio of solutions to come up with innovative solutions to help the government come and find a solution to this pandemic as soon as possible. That's about the slides I have, and we now live in an age of artificial narrow intelligence, where the focus is on research and industry solutions that solve today's problems, in addition to conducting research and delivering healthcare industry solutions that are both near-term and long-term. We are also working towards a future where technology and multiple stakeholders or partners can collaborate together across borders and work towards a common ambition. And that's our plan and our roadmap. We all are all about scale and speed. So we always are open to all partners, scientists, engineers, doctors, and the wider medical community here to join forces in developing solutions to address our shared challenges, if you could call it, and future-proofing the health of our nations. Once again, thank you for your time and this opportunity.
Well, thank you, Mr. Ashish. This has been a phenomenal presentation. And to be honest, we really thank you for your great contribution. And I can see the excitement of everyone around the call. with the giving different questions. So allow me to kickstart that by thanking you for such great presentation, and perhaps starting the first question, which we got from Dr. Howard. And I'm reading it as it was posted. So in keeping with the recent news from Pfizer and Moderna, what do we expect to be able to review the phase 3 data from for humanity clinical trial?
So So the teams are currently working day and night to churn that data right now. I do believe it's not even a matter of weeks, it's a matter of days when hopefully the results, the interim results should be published together or similar in terms with what Pfizer and Moderna have published. I would say in a couple of days, it should be out. I hope that answers the question.
Well, I mean, I'll keep you posted if we receive a follow-up comment from that, but apparently it answered it perfectly. So the second question we got from Kathleen, and she's asking to please discuss the difference between the Moderna vaccine that doesn't need refrigeration and Pfizer's vaccine, which I understand does need refrigeration.
Maybe I'll leave the Pfizer question to you, but nevertheless, I'll try to answer to the best of my abilities.
I cannot answer this question, Ashish. I'm no more with Pfizer because as of yesterday, we created Viatris as of 16. So I wouldn't be able to comment on that, unfortunately.
No. I'll answer that question. No worries. I'll answer
have as well. I think we will have in the participant list any colleague from Pfizer that can ask this question, unless you want to take that forward.
It's a straightforward question. I can answer that. So Pfizer, if I read the question right, the difference between Moderna vaccine that does not need refrigeration, that's incorrect. The Moderna vaccine also needs refrigeration, perhaps not at that deep freeze temperatures of the one that Pfizer has. Pfizer is between the ranges of -70 and -80. And Moderna, I believe, is around -24 degrees, which still needs refrigeration. The ones that we are testing here together with Sinopharm is between the ranges of 2 to 8 degrees. And so all vaccines need proper refrigeration and cold chain, but I think it's at a different temperature levels. From our perspective, it's much more easier from a cold chain and distribution because the fact that it's in a normal fridge temperature. But nevertheless, I think it's excellent that every partner is coming up with a solution right now. So not just one company can solve all this. I think it's a global effort across the group. So I think that answers, hopefully that answers the question.
Thank you so much. We will move to the following one, and again from Dr. Howard. So when do you expect to make the dead virus vaccine available for the general public here in the UAE?
So I think that's immediately once the product gets registered, which we believe it's by the end of this year. And perhaps together, once the results are published, and not just the interim results, the full results are published, and we can move from an emergency use authorization to a full product registration, where the government of UAE should make it available for all citizens, not just the frontliners. And I think it's a matter of weeks or months, hopefully, once the results are out. But it shouldn't take long.
Okay, thank you so much. So another comment and question. So it came from Liz. So thank you, Ashish. G42 is truly groundbreaking, and looking to speed and scale G42 responded to the COVID. So what is the likelihood of the same could be done with the most invasive and deadly cancers?
The answer is, if it is about finding a solution, I do believe technology and the new innovative solution, not just what we are working together with Sinopharm. I think the mRNA vaccine, specifically how innovative it is, it definitely can be tweaked to, if potentially all the results are good and is validated, it definitely can be tweaked to perhaps answer multiple problems. But from our perspective, what we are working on, specifically on genomics, I do believe the fact that we can sequence an entire population and There's a lot of data that can be generated out of that, and together working with pharma companies on pharmacogenomics and oncology. And that is our core focus, because that's a problem here. So the answer is yes, we are on the way to that, but it's going to take time, and it's going to take collaboration across multiple groups.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for the sharp answers, I would say, so far. Let's keep on. So another question from the audience about that the government announced that the UAE military was vaccinated. Did they get the Sinopharm vaccine? Do you have any idea about that?
I have no idea about that. I hope so, but I don't know what is the answer there, because it is under the government's regulations, and they decide based on their selection who gets it. So I sincerely hope it is the Sinopharm vaccine.
Okay. So another question from Dr. Ahmed this time. So in Singapore, they recently announced a blockchain-based digital health passport for more efficient management of COVID-19 medical records. Are there any plans or preliminary discussion about integrating blockchain-based solutions into the UAE healthcare sector? And if so, can you shed the light on this?
So absolutely, we are working with multiple countries, especially the countries where we have exclusive distribution rights for this particular vaccine. We are working, trying to create a safe corridor, similar to something what our Al Hosn app works here. So if a person, for example, from Kuwait is vaccinated and is coming over to UAE, where both these vaccines are accepted, you wouldn't need to stand in a queue or go through a PCR test. You would perhaps take the similar example of the emergency lane in the Dubai-Abu Dhabi border and make it a safe corridor. And we are working with some of the key players on creating a blockchain methodology here. We've already adopted blockchain here for our Genome Program, where every consenting volunteer, the permission is via blockchain and is stored on a secure cloud. It's the same methodology, but a different use case. But the question is perfect. It is going to be the new norm, and we are working, but it has to be from both parties, where both countries should approve the particular vaccine, and both countries should understand that what is the testing methodology. Is it 14 days? Is it just that you got the vaccine? Is it once you have the antibodies in your blood? I think that's a decision for the ministries to agree on. But yes, we are ready to support and deploy these solutions.
Wonderful. So we move to a question from Dareen, and Dareen is asking, what's your long-term vision for entering the medical imaging space?
So we have already entered the medical imaging space. We have deployed solution here in Abu Dhabi. So the beauty of our medical imaging platform is twofold. One, it is seamless. We could deploy it directly integrated to your PAC system. There's no requirement for an on-premise server or an installation. It's completely on the cloud. An AI model, for example, if the problem statement is chest X-ray detection for every visa holder renewal, it's a straightforward algorithm. Run the chest X-ray, yes or no. We can actually, our platform actually sorts it out and analyzes the image, sorts it in descending order. So based on problems, so it gives the radiologist time to focus on the problematic images, as opposed to spending 75% of the time looking at normal images and perhaps making that human error of letting go of that image that potentially could be life-threatening. So that's the goal of the solutions that we are deploying across medical imaging. We have lung nodule detection modules live. We have mammogram detection solutions live. We have chest X-rays, COVID-19 detection, and also for lung detection for COVID-19. And these are solutions that are already deployed. Our goal is to create a portfolio of solutions for medical imaging, where the user can choose what works for them and deploy it immediately.
Fantastic. I mean, I'll personally second the coming comment, which is not a question that came from Dr. Howard. And Dr. Howard is saying, many thanks, Ashish, that he's truly appreciated your informative presentation and thoughtful responses to his queries. And I would say to all queries that we have seen so far. We have another one coming from Fabrice. And again, another thank you for the great presentation and amazing holistic approach of G42. are there any plans or strategy to localize drug substance manufacturing and develop production of biologics in Abu Dhabi? So, for example, vaccine, but also advanced therapeutics such as cell and gene drugs. Is there, and if so, will G42 drive this initiative? I like the question.
Yeah, it's a wonderful question, and it's a much required problem that UAE is trying to solve. And if the question is G42 going to get into that right now, I don't have that answer. But I know for the vaccine manufacturing, as part of our clinical trial agreement and as part of our distribution agreement, we have rights to manufacture this vaccine in UAE. And that's the whole reason we wanted to bring this here, so that we give the capability to the government of UAE to be ready for the next pandemic and not go about on a shopping list for the next one. We have built capability here from manufacturing, from detection, from sequencing to understand the mutations, and also potentially which could serve the purpose into vaccine manufacturing. Our goal is to create a biotech hub here. Right now, it is on vaccines, but definitely therapeutic drugs, including stem cells, is something that we are working on.
That's perfectly stated as always, Ashish. So with that, I will move to another comment that we got from Kaplan, and Kaplan is thanking you and myself. Thank you, Kaplan, for such informative webinar. So indeed, with that, I'm still keeping some floor, probably a couple of more minutes for any additional question. And in preparation for that, probably I can take one question, Ashish. To be honest, you have been tremendous and phenomenal in the way that you penetrated the UAE market. So it was a flash. So we suddenly realized that G42 is going through a very critical and I would say strategic direction that potentially companies have taken ages to think and dream of having a scratch of what you have achieved. What were the critical success factor that allowed you to do such phenomenal job in a very short time?
I think the number 42, if you could call it, because as I said, it stands for the wild card or the asterisk on the keyboard. So it was easy for us to come in. Yeah, but jokes aside, I think the fact that, we deployed solutions on genomics, and in 2019, prior to the pandemic, we had a cloud solution which could support the government in terms of data storage and making decisions quickly. I think we were fortunate enough to be at the right place at the wrong time. But when the pandemic came, I think there was a need for all partners through public-private partnerships to get things done. And G42's motto is sort of speed. We went in, executed, because this is something that we can talk about commercials, revenues later on, but this is something we wanted to work together hand in hand to show our capability. And that's why we went in all guns blazing to come up with a solution. But I think the answer to that question is the Department of Health Abu Dhabi, under the leadership of both Sheikh Abdullah and Dr. Jamal, they were open to all ideas. And they were very supportive to take in even the slightest of, just a brainstorming exercise and come back with a plan to execute it. And that's what we did. So I would say a progressive regulatory authority that decided that they wanted to take Abu Dhabi to the front, and we were just an operational arm to that.
Great job, Ashish. I mean, we're all proud of all what you have done so far. So another question from Hani, and again, thanking you and to AmCham in general for arranging that. So what are the challenges from the policy standpoint when it comes to diagnostics, especially with the vision to open the countries more and more?
Sorry, can you repeat that question once again?
So it's what are the challenges from policy standpoint when it comes to diagnostics?
As from diagnostics, I think the policy right now for COVID-19 detection, let's talk about that. For example, there are a plethora of solutions for detection, be it from PCR detection all the way to something that we are working on LAMPORT, which is scale. I think the policies should be about more or less validation studies. I think that is something perhaps both private and public companies should work together to open up policies on understanding new methods of testing, as opposed to only PCR being the gold standard. And if you see it across multiple countries, though they have experimented on multiple ways of testing, it has always been the PCR, in spite of the fact there are more accurate testing also. I think that is something that perhaps we need to open up, but I don't blame them, because there are a lot of tests to do in Abu Dhabi, and there's a lot of labs. The fact that everyone needs to work together, and they've just chosen one single mode of testing. But definitely there is an area to improve, hopefully to open up multiple innovative solutions for testing.
Fantastic, Ashish. So we've got actually a couple of more before we give it to Liz to say a live word. So again, thank you, word coming from the participants. And one from Jay Hazel that is thanking you for the presentation, which it's very interesting. And a question to you, are you happy to share this presentation and much more? Are you happy to meet and review with local healthcare providers?
More than happy to share the presentation. I'll definitely share with the members here, and then you guys can decide how you want to disseminate that information. But absolutely, we are more than happy to meet, greet, discuss potential partnerships. We are not the only solution to the problems here. It is only by joint partnership. We are open to partners, scientists, doctors working together. Okay, rest assured, we have an open door. Every idea will be taken in all seriousness. And if there is a use case, consider that we will execute it together with you guys. So absolutely ready.
Well, thank you. We will take one comment from Les. So Les, please speak.
So hello, everyone. And I'm also on the grounds of the Impossible is Possible, coming to you live from Dubai Expo 2020, where the U.S. Pavilion was just dedicated today. And it's just another example of how amazing our host country is. And G42 is a living example of how technology, speed, intelligence, and going a little outside the box makes a difference. Ashish, I want to thank you very much for this presentation, as well as our outstanding healthcare committee, Dr. Bashkil, Ayman, and Mazen. And on that note, I have one quick question for you. Ashish, each year we host a roundtable of our most important sectors of AmCham Abu Dhabi, and I would like to give you a live invitation to come back and be a part of our annual roundtable event next year. So I hope you'll continue to help share this amazing technology that is changing lives every moment. Will you take our invitation under advisement, please?
Absolutely, as long as it's not a Zoom invite.
I promise you we'll meet in person, because through G42, Pfizer, Moderna, Sinopharm, and the global effort, I'm fully confident a year from now we'll be able to still fist bump, but in person. Again, thank you for your presentation. Back to you, Ayman. Thank you so much, Ashish.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish. And thank you, Les, for the great comment. And with that note, and in closing, I would really like to extend my sincere gratitude for Ashish for the great session, for the great presentation, but moreover, for the great openness and candid discussion that you had during, I would say, the question. I would personally say this is one of the most engaging and most inspiring, I would say, Zoom meeting that I have been recently, that kept me on the screen for the last 47s with high level of attendance. Thank you for the time, Ashish, and thanks everyone for being with us today. Thank you, stay safe, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.